Back at Fort Morgan High School. Getting ready to start the game here. The Fort Morgan starting lineup is brought to you by Blodorn Lumber. At blodornlumber.com, browse the virtual showroom, view the current sales, complete a credit application, and shop the entire inventory online. Whether you're a contractor or painting your living room, at Blodorn Lumber, you'll get the same friendly service and advice to make your job easier. Visit Blodorn Lumber in Fort Morgan at 130 State Street. So for the Fort Morgan Mustangs, their starting lineup is senior guard Tony Swetzig, freshman guard Tate Kimball, junior guard Joy Snyder, center Wes Anderson, senior also, and junior Eric Kimball, also a forward guard / whatever they put him in there at. So the opening tip is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. With 2 locations in Brush and Fort Morgan, Ingmeyer Phillips can help you with your home, car, health, or life insurance questions or needs. Tip controlled by the Mustangs. Tate Kimball with the ball down left side. He picks up his dribble. Now Joey Snyder straight away down to the right side. Eric Kimball drives to the lane and is knocked away from Kimball, taken away by the Bison. And they look to get the ball down court quickly. Shot from 3-point is up and good, and that is by Washington. So quickly 3-0 for the Bison. But Fort Morgan comes right back with a 2 by Joyce Snyder. So now we call it travel on the Bison. That would be Noah Butler called for the travel. Now it looks like Vista Peak will put a press on the Mustangs. Joey Schneider does get it across half court. Bounce pass to Wes Anderson. Now pass underneath to Eric Kimball. Kimball's shot is up and no good. Rebounded to the Bison with Washington backing it out, being guarded by Tate Kimball. Reverses his travel and then gets it off to Hawkins. Hawkins out by the mid-court line. He hands it back out to Washington. 3-2 here early for the Bison. Isaiah Young now a nice pass down underneath to Austin Kibbe. He puts it up and in. Oh, bad pass there by Joey Snyder. Stolen by Hawkins. Now Hawkins will bring it out, set up the offense for the Vista Peak Bison. And drive it all the way to the lane. That shot is going to be up and good by Hawkins, and he was also fouled on the play. And that foul is going to go against Wes Anderson. His first. So 7-2 here early on for the Vista Peak Bison. Free throw was also up and good for Hawkins. Very quick defense here. Full court press. Now Tate Kimball gets it across half court. To Anderson, now back to Eric Kimball. Eric Kimball drives the right baseline, and it is knocked out of his hands, then off of his leg. So another turnover by the Mustangs early. TJ Bauer to come in for Eric Kimball. 6:03 to go, 8-2 in favor of the Bison. They get it across half court. Washington drives it down the right sideline, up and no good. Rebounded, nice takeaway by Joey Snyder. Gets it out to Tate Kimball. Kimball now drives it down the lane. Oh, his pass is not in the reach of Tony Swetzig. I thought he had a nice lane there. He could have put it up and in.
He had a nice clear shot, it looked like. He just decided to dish off for an assist and just led him a little too much.
Tony was set up in the left corner for a 3, but the ball never got to him. So Alex Hawkins being guarded by Swetzig. Now over to Washington. Oh, nice takeaway by Wes Anderson on the bounce pass into the middle. Now Tate Kimball, his shot is going to be up and no good. They're letting things go tonight. It's going to be a rough game, it looks like, here in Fort Morgan. So Washington, Hawkins has it. He's going to line up for a three, and that is up and no good. Rebounded to T.J. Bauer. Bauer to Snyder to Swetzik. Now to Wes Anderson. The layup is good from the left side for Anderson. His first 2 points of the night, 8-4 for the Bison as they get set up in their offense. Hawkins now tries to drive and then kicks it back out. Now over to Isaiah Young, who drives the baseline. His shot is up and no good. Rebounded by Tate Kimball. Tate Kimball now with the ball across half court. Drives it down the right side of the lane. His shot is going to be blocked, but there's going to be a foul called. And that looks like that's going to go on Pivic. So Tate Kimball will go to the line to shoot two. State Farm Insurance. Let the State Farm Insurance office of Greg Mullen and Brush help you find the best policy to fit your life. Home, auto, life, health. State Farm Insurance is here for you and your family. Give Greg Mullen a call today, 842-4555.
The refs are definitely letting them play. They're letting them do a lot of body contact, even going up in the air. They're pretty much bumping pretty good and letting them play some ball.
Yeah, both free throws are good for Tate. So now Eric Kimball comes back in and Tony Swetzik takes a seat. Now they're going to call a two-shot foul. That's going to go against Eric Kimball for his first. That's number 5. Looks like Butler at the line to shoot two. Premier Farm Credit is still the lender of choice for America's farmers and ranchers. They understand and are passionate about agriculture and are dedicated to serving America in good times and bad. Premier Farm Credit, the gold standard in ag lending. First free throw is no good. Second one up, also no good, off the front of the rim, rebounded to Anderson. Now to Tate. He dribbles it right to the center of the court and gets a tie-up, but that is going to be a turnover, I would guess you would call that, because it's going to go back to Vista Peak. So they will inbounds mid-court. Hawkins gets it into Washington. Now, their head coach is Josh Brenning, hollering out some instructions to the kids out there. Hawkins now gets it over to Washington. Now left corner. Back out left high. He's going to step back for a two. Shot is up. Oh, they gave him a three. I thought his foot was on the line. So 10-6 here for the Bison. Oh, nice three by T.J. Bauer from the left corner. Now Washington gets the ball down court, passes it to the right corner, and that shot is going to be up and good. Another three by Alex Hawkins. Now Wes Anderson, when he gets it to Joey Snyder, gets it down to Tate Kimball across half court. Tate Kimball there having it knocked away from him. Taken back by the Bison. Right side layup is up and good by Washington. So 15-9 here now to T.J. Bauer. Bauer back out to Kimball. Kimball to Kimball and then to Anderson. T.J. Bauer for another three. Up and good for Bauer. Back-to-back threes here for Bauer. 15-12 now for Bison leading with 2:53 to go in the first period.
Beautiful shot by Bauer. Nice form.
So now Washington keeps the dribble alive. Kicks it off to Butler. Washington gets it back. He's going to go down the left side. He passes it underneath to the right side to Isaiah Young. Taken away by Anderson. Now the lead down to Bauer. Layup is good for Bauer. 8 quick points here for Bauer here in the first period. 15-14. Mustangs down by 1. Pass it off to Young. Young cross court now to Butler. Butler drives it down the right side. His shot is going to be blocked by Eric Kimball. Nice block by Kimball. Going to get it down. Oh, pass is going to be taken by Anderson now in the right corner to Bauer off the front of the rim and no good. Rebounded by Eric Kimball, but there's going to be a foul call. There's going to be tripped.
It's going to be against Young, number 4.
It's going to be his first, only the second team foul. Henry Weimer come in for the Mustangs. Whole new group comes in for the Bison. 5 starters go out and 5 go back in. So Tony Svetzig also to come back in. Wes Anderson came out. Tate Kimball's going to come out with a minute 55 to go here in the first period. Fort Morgan inbound right of their basket. Baseline. Get it into Joey Snyder. Snyder to Svetzig. Svetzig back to Bauer, now underneath to Snyder. Nice pass there to Kimball. He kicks it back out to Svetzig. Svetzig's shot's going to be off the side of the rim and no good. Rebounded by Ortiz of Vista Peak. Now to the right corner to Sanusi, back out to Knobloch. His 3 is going to be up and good. 18-14 now. Mustangs get it in. Joey Schneider meets the ball. Nice way to meet the ball. Tony Svetzig to Eric Kimball. Eric Kimball drives down the lane, but there's going to be a foul called. That's going to go against number 15.
Mr. Crosby.
It's going to be one on him.
Good shot by Henry Weimer, just fighting through the picks.
So now 18-16 for the Bison. Going to kick it back out to 24. That is Knobloch. Nice steal there by Joey Snyder. They're going to call him for a double dribble.
Looked like he caught it, and then the ball hit his hand kind of hard, and he just dropped it and then picked it back up and then went to go dribble again, and they got him for the double dribble.
So now Vista Peak the inbounds. Knobloch with it out high. Now back over to Crosby. Crosby keeps the dribble alive. We're under a minute, 42 seconds to go here in the first period. Crosby's little had a pass underneath to Ortiz. Went through his hands and out of bounds. So Fort Morgan see if they try to play for the last shot. Now Weimer to Kimball, back to Weimer to Joey Schneider. And they get across half court. Oh, it's going to be a bad pass. Going to go to the back court. Sanusi's going to... Oh, nice hustle by Eric Kimball. Knocks it off of Sanusi. He tries to gather it up and ends up going out of bounds. So now Wes Anderson comes in for the Mustangs. Joey Snyder to take a seat.
That was a good heads up by Kimball. Right when he picked up the ball and went for the dribble, he knocked it out off of his knee instead of going for the ball for the backcourt penalty.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a wide open layup. And they're going to call Wes Anderson for a travel in the backcourt. So Vista Peak will now have a shot at it here. They're going to bring in a whole other group of...
Looks like the starters are coming back out on the floor here.
So 20 seconds to go here in the first period. Hawkins gets it into Washington. Washington in backcourt gets it across half court, being guarded by Tate Kimball. Keeps the dribble alive, now over to Young. Young straight away. 8 seconds, now back to Washington. Washington Kimball, he's going to pull up for a 3, and that is good for Washington. So let's see. Guess that's going to be the end of the first period. Vista Peak up 21-16 over the Fort Morgan Mustangs on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, Vista Peak up 21-16 to start the second quarter. Washington for the Vista Peak is guy with a hot hand. They're going to have a foul called on Vista Peak, and that will go against Barrows. Tony Svetzig, the inbounds baseline, tries to get it in. It's going to be off the hands of Ortiz, or excuse me, not Ortiz, Knobloch of Vista Peak. Now inbounds left baseline. tried to get it in. They get it into Tate. Oh, bad pass into Anderson, taken away by Sanusi. Sanusi now dribbles down, going to hand it off to number 24. Shot is up and no good by Knobloch. Rebounded though, I believe that was Ortiz that got that. Got the putback on that one. So now Tate Kimball gets the ball down to brother Eric. Eric drives it all the way down the lane. Nice layup by Eric Kimball. 23-18 for the Bison. Now Knobloch with it, gets it out to Sanusi. Sanusi keeps the dribble alive, goes against Tony Swetzig. They're going to call a blocking foul on Swetzig. So Sanusi will go to the line to shoot 2. MMI International, before your next mixer or feeder truck purchase, compare the MMI design, craftsmanship, and service. They continually outperform our competitors hands down. Call them at 842-5161. And the first shot was good by Sanusi. Second shot hits the front of the rim and rolls in. So 2 points on the night for Sanusi. Get it into Snyder, now to TJ Bauer. Bauer tries to get it to Wes Anderson. They're going to call a jump. And looks like possession will go back to Vista Peak. Fort Morgan a little sloppy with their passes. So now Vista Peak with Crosby bringing the ball up court. Crosby being guarded by Tate Kimball. 6:50 to go in the second period. Now shot from the corner by Knobloch is short and no good. Rebounded by Anderson. Now Tate Kimball. Trapping defense here by Vista Peak. And they steal it away, get it to Crosby. Going to be taken away. They're going to call a reach foul on Fort Morgan. And that foul will go against Schneider. That will be his first. 4 team fouls apiece for each team. So Crosby to inbounds far side. He looks to get it in, gets it into Ortiz. Hands it back off to Crosby. Crosby at the left elbow. Hands it back out to Sanusi. Sanusi pulls it back out. He's going to try to drive the lane and does so. They just let him walk in, but he misses the shot. Rebounded finally by Ortiz. He kicks it out to Knobloch. Now into the corner to Barrows, and his three is up and good. So a 30-second timeout here taken by the Fort Morgan Mustangs. The Fort Morgan timeout is brought to you by Early Toyota East. Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Early Toyota East at 1209 Main Street in Fort Morgan will professionally fit you into the car or truck of your choice. Serving all of Northeast Colorado, Ehrlich Toyota East.
They changed that three-pointer from Hawkins in the first period to a 2. When he stepped back and we thought his foot was on the line, they called it on the line.
Well, I thought when he had shot, that was when I thought when he had stepped up there that it was on the line.
We had it marked as a 3, and then they put it back as 2. So
now Tate Kimball with the ball for the Mustangs. Schneider to Eric Kimball. Oh, another pass is tipped. That pass is going to go down court and over the head of Sanusi. So one turnover for Morgan, with another turnover by Vista Peak. And they try to get a trapping defense here. Now Tate Kimball to Anderson, to Bauer, to Schneider. He's being grabbed on the way in and they don't call anything. So Bauer with another 3, up and good for TJ. So Bauer on fire from the 3-point line tonight, 28-21. Now Knobloch hands it off to Sanusi. Sanusi goes down the lane. He kicks it out into the corner to Barrows, but they're going to call him for a travel. So Fort Morgan to inbound sideline by the Mustang bench. Tate Kimball gets instructions from Coach Unrein what plays they want to run. Now back to Bauer. Bauer to Anderson to Tate. Now a three from the corner is up and no good by Schneider, but taken back away by the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Oh, nice rebound by Joey Schneider. Little right-handed hook shot up and no good. Now Eric Kimball is going to be called for another foul. Kind of a bump foul down in the corner. The things they let go underneath where they about mug each other, and then outside there where there's kind of a touch foul, they're starting to call those. So it's tough to play when you're not just exactly sure what they're
calling on you.
So the Bisons with the ball. Sanusi with the ball goes down the right side, but they're going to call a foul on the Mustangs. That's going to go against Wes Anderson. That'll be 2 on Anderson. Fort Morgan down 7 with 4:47 to go here in the second period. Henry Weimer to come in for the Mustangs. Wes Anderson comes out. Now Ortiz to inbounds. Baseline right of the basket, gets it in to Knobloch, and that three is up and good. Drive him for 6 points on the night, both threes. Tony Swessy gets the ball, drives it down the lane. Now over to Henry Weimer. Weimer's shot's going to be up and good, and he's going to be fouled on the play. So nice shot there by Weimer. And they called that on Ortiz, I believe. Yes, that's his first. So Weimer go to the line for a freebie here. We'll see if he can knock it down. Weimer's free throw is up and good. So 31-24 for the Bison. Crosby gets the ball down court. Now to Sanusi. Sanusi kicks it out to Knobloch. Knobloch gets it back to Crosby. He drives it down the lane. Pass is going to be off the hands of the Bison and out of bounds. So another turnover here by the Bison. Fort Morgan needs to take advantage of these turnovers. Get some points on the board. Now Tate Kimball gets to Swetzig. Swetzig back to Tate. 4:05 to go. Now they're going to call a foul out front. And that's going to go against Sanusi. So Fort Morgan inbounds near side, get it into Tate Kimball. Another blocking foul on Sanusi. So they've started calling this a little closer than they were when it first started. So that's 17 fouls. Now Tate will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. See if he can hit his first free throw here. First one is in and out. Tate has been 69% from the free throw line this year, but missed that one. So now Crosby being guarded by Tate. Kicks it back out to Sanusi out high. He backs it out, keeps the dribble alive. Keeps dribbling now. He's going to, nice bounce pass underneath, but now out to Barrows. Barrows' shot is going to be blocked. They're going to call a foul, I believe, on Weimer. It'll be his first. So Ortiz will go to the line to shoot 2. First one is off the back of the rim and no good. Valley View Villa, look to the team at Aspen Rehabilitation inside Valley View Villa for your sports rehab, short-term or long-term care needs. Stop by 815 Fremont or call them today, 867-8261. So Vista Peak makes another wholesale substitution here, except for Ortiz at the line. Colawalio comes in for the Mustangs. Henry Weimer comes out. So Ortiz gets another shot here with 3:33 to go. Up and no good. Rebounded by Tate Kimball. He gets it to Eric Kimball. Now to Tony Swetzig. Swetzig's going to stop for and pop for a 3, and that one might have been partially blocked. Came up short of the rim. Now they get it down court to Hawkins. Hawkins back out to Butler, then back to Hawkins. Now over to Washington, high right side. Dribbles down the right, kicks it back out to the corner, and that shot by Hawkins is up and no good. A rebounded up and good by Hawkins. Gets his own rebound. 33-24 for the Bison. 2:55 to go. Kick the ball out to Eric Kimball. Eric Kimball's going to drive down the lane, but he is going to be fouled on the layup. That's going to be Ortiz with his second. Eric Kimball will go to the line to shoot 2.
Ortiz was a little surprised they called a foul, but they both ended up on the floor up against the walls, and I don't know how you can be surprised about that.
Maybe they think they're still in football mode. I'm not sure, but so the first shot is up and in by Eric. Eric Kimball is shooting 71% from the free throw line this year. So you have Tate Kimball, TJ Bauer, Eric Kimball, Tolawalio, and Tony Swetzik. Second shot is no good by Eric Kimball. As Hawkins looks to get it up court, gets directions from his coach. He's going to keep the dribble alive. Picks up his dribble now underneath the Pivik. His shot is up and no good. Rebounded to Tate Kimball. Kimball hustles it up across half court. Now they're going to call a foul. I believe that's going to go on Washington. His first. So a 1-and-1 now for Tate Kimball. He will go back to the line for another 1-and-1. Tate with a couple of dribbles here, looks at the basket, shot up and in and out. Tate is usually pretty good from the free throw line, but not on right at the moment. Now another turnover by the Bison. They throw it away and they're into the court. So Bauer to inbounds from in front of the Bison bench. We're trying to get the Bison coach out of the way, having a little discussion with the refs. They get it into Eric Kimball. 2:21 to go here in the first half. 33-25 Bison. Now Tony Swetzik for a three from deep, and it is up and good for Swetzik. He was almost pro line there for a three, and it went in. Mustangs find themselves down 5, 33-28 with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Now Hawkins back to Washington. They're going to call Washington for the travel. So another turnover here for the Mustangs. A couple of substitutions now for the Vista Peak Bison. For Morgan, the inbound is from in front of their bench. Swetzik gets it in to Tate Kimball with 1:55 to go. Now to Bauer. Bauer to Eric Kimball. Eric Kimball's got a lane all the way down, but was knocked away from him by Washington. So Washington, Vista Peak to inbounds from their end of the court. 9 team fouls on Vista Peak, 7 on Fort Morgan. Down 33-28 with 1:46 and counting here in the first half. Polawalio guarding Hawkins. Gets it back to Washington. Straight out. Now a three for Hawkins is up and no good. Tate Kimball with it gets it down to TJ Bauer. Bauer drives it all the way down up and was no good. Rebounded to Fort Morgan. Looked like it was off of Vista Peak from here. The ref closest to the ball is looking for help from guys that were farther away. And they do give it to the Fort Morgan Mustangs. This Vista Peak bunch, they are quick. They've got some quick hands and some quick feet. They can cover a lot of ground in a hurry.
They're playing real tight defense too. They're right up in on their man.
So Bauer now left high wing. Gets it back to Swetzik. Swetzik's going to stop and pop for another three. Up and off the rim and no good. Hits the top of the backboard and out. So out of bounds to Vista Peak. Hawkins comes in. Sanusi goes out for the Bison. 1:11 to go here. 33-28 still for the Bison. Tolawalio guarding Hawkins. Now they get it back to Washington out high, being guarded by Tate Kimball. Now back out to Hawkins, high right wing, back to Washington. Washington, his shot is, I'm not sure if that was a shot. Well, it looked like it fell out of his hand, but it went in for a 2. So 40 seconds to go here, first half. Tate Kimball off to Eric, now to TJ Bauer, left wing, underneath to Eric Kimball. Lost it out of bounds. Eric said he was got slapped on the wrist. That's why it went out of bounds, but it was off of the Bison. Now Sanusi comes in, like Joey Schneider tries to get in, but they get the ball into the. They just called an illegal screen on TJ Bauer. So Joey Schneider to come into the game for the Mustangs. Tolawalio to come out.
The Bison do a lot of pick and roll. They call a lot of legal screens that I've been watching on the floor for the Bison, moving screens, and that was the first one that they called. So see if they be consistent with the rest of the calls.
So now Watt looks like they are going to milk the clock here. 20 seconds to go, run it down for a final shot. Tate Kimball being guarded closely by Washington. He should have to get rid of the ball. Yes. 5-second call against Washington, so another turnover. 12.4 seconds to go. Nice job by Tate Kimball to come up and pressure Washington. We got 10 seconds to go here in the first half. Tate Kimball, now they're going to have a foul called, and it might have been away from the ball. It's going to go against Burrows, as Bauer was trying to make a cut up the far sideline. He was being held. So Bauer will go to the line to shoot 2 as they have 10 team fouls now. First one is up and no good. Mr. D's Ace Farm and Home Center for all your farm and ranch supplies, including Purina feeds and everything. Stop by any of the Ace stores in Fort Morgan, Sterling, and their newest location at 122 Custer Street in Brush. So Bauer with shot number 2 to come here with 6 seconds to go. First half. That one is off the rim, bouncing around and no good, but knocked out of bounds by Eric Kimball. 5 seconds to go. Walio into the game for the Mustangs. Eric Kimball to come out as he has 2. They don't want him picking up a silly foul here with 5 seconds to go in the first half. Full court pressure here by the Mustangs. Tate Kimball on Washington. Washington goes down the lane the whole way, and it's going to be up and off the rim and no good. So here at the end of the first half, the Vista Peak Bison 35, the Fort Morgan Mustangs 28 on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School with Bob Richardson, this is Brian Nickel. The start of the third period coming up here in about 2 or 3 seconds here. Fort Morgan find themselves down 35-28. Fort Morgan will take possession of the ball to start with that half court, and they get it into Tate Kimball. Kimball being guarded by Washington. Now to Eric Kimball. Kicks it back out to Tate. Tate to Eric Kimball. Kimball is going to be stolen away by Sanusi. Now they're going to call a foul on his second. It's like they could have called a foul the other way when they first took it away from Swetzig, but that didn't happen. So now Hawkins looks to inbounds. Going to be a lob underneath, up, but the shot is short by Isaiah Young. Now Tate Kimball to Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson back out to Eric Kimball. Joey Schneider left side. He goes down the left baseline, kicks it back out to Tony Swetzig. Swetzig for 3 is up and good for Tony. So a 4-point lead now for the Bison, 35-31. After Swetzig's second 3 of the night. Hawkins now to Butler. Butler's shot is going to be up and no good. Rebounded to Eric Kimball. Kimball gets the ball across half court. Screened by Anderson. They get it back out to Swetzig. Anderson slips and goes down. Catches the pass anyway. Then passes it out to Eric Kimball. His shot is no good. With Washington going down the right sideline, his shot is going to be up and out. He went all the way around the rim and came back out. Rebounded to Eric Kimball. Now Tate Kimball gets to Eric. Back to Tony. Right corner to Tate. Kimball tries to drive the baseline. He kicks it back out to Wes Anderson. Now Tony Swetzik, right wing. He's going to try to go. A little layup is up and good for Tony Swetzik.
Way to use the backboard for Swetzik.
So now Noah Butler hands it off to Hawkins in the corner to Young. He drives the baseline. Now he kicks it back out to Hawkins, who doesn't take the shot. Gives it back to Washington. And Washington, nice bounce pass underneath. Shot is going to be up and good. I believe that was by Butler. Knocked out of bounds by Vista Peak in the front court here in front of the Mustang bench. So now Tony Swetzik, the inbounds left sideline, almost at the baseline. They need to get it in. Gets it into Kimball, Eric Kimball. Kimball to Wes Anderson. Now nice cut underneath by, Joey Schneider. His shot goes over the rim and no good. Got excited there and put a little too much effort into that shot. Now Washington is going to stop and pop. No good. Rebounded by Pivic. And he is going to be fouled on the play. I believe that was on Joey Schneider, his second. So Pivic to go to the line to shoot two. Now TJ Bauer going to get ready to come in for the Mustangs. Pivic's first shot is up and good. So TJ in for Eric Kimball. Central Auto Parts, you want your vehicle and farm equipment to be in top shape, so make sure you take care of them. Purchase the best quality parts and accessories at great prices at your local Napa store. Central Auto Parts in Fort Morgan. Second shot was no good by Pivic. Tate Kimball gets it back from Swetzik. Now they're going to call a jump ball with Tate Kimball and Pivic, and the possession arrow will go to the Bison. So Pivic inbounds to Washington. Washington still with 13 points. That's what he had in the first half. He averages 17. So now layup up and no good by Noah Butler, rebounded by Joey Schneider. Tate Kimball has it taken away by Pivic. Shot is up and good by Pivic after the steal. So 40-33, a 7-point lead here for Vista Peak. Now they got another foul called on Sanusi. That is 3 on the reach-in. 2 team fouls on Fort Morgan, 1 on Vista Peak. So Swetzik to inbounds. Gets it over to Wes Anderson. He's being pushed, and now another 3 by Bauer from the corner is up and no good. Rebounded by Anderson, but knocked away from him. Taken by Washington. Washington's going to take it all the way, and his shot is going to be up and good. Pass down court to Anderson. His little layup is going to be up and good by Anderson. Nice hustle down court by Wes Anderson. 4 points on the night for Wes. 42-35. Into the corner to Young. Kick it back out to Washington. Washington's going to kick it out to Butler, and they're going to call him for a travel. I don't know how some of these calls, I don't know how they're a travel when they grab it and they start bouncing it right away, but 42-35 in favor of the Bison. Kimball to Swetzik. Swetzik being guarded by Sanusi. Schneider now to Tate Kimball. Tate Kimball, little shot is up and no good, but tipped in by Anderson. Anderson right there at the rim for the tip in. 42-37, 5-point lead for the Bison. Now Sanusi all the way down the lane. His shot is going to be up and no good. Rebounded, finally taken by Swetzik. Swetzik gets it to Bauer, and Bauer's shot is going to be up and good. Nice hustle here by the Mustangs. Substitution here for the Mustangs. Eric Kimball to come in. Tony Swetzik comes out. Knobloch comes in for the Bison, and Butler takes a seat as Washington brings the ball up across half court. 3:37 to go here in the third period. Washington drives it down and he kicks it back out to Knobloch. Knobloch now to Sanusi. Sanusi into the left corner to Young. He drives it into the lane. His little layup is going to be up and rolls in for Young. His first 2 points of the night for Isaiah Young. Wes Anderson now brings the ball up across half court. He tries to take it down the lane and he goes all the way, but they're going to call an offensive foul, I believe, on Wes Anderson. So that will be 3 on Anderson. So Henry Weimer to come in for Anderson. Ortiz comes in for the Bison as Pivick takes a seat. 44-39, 3:11 to go, third period. Mustangs down. Washington left wing keeps the dribble alive against Tate. Now into the corner, now back to Washington. Washington drives the lane. He's going to kick it out to Young. Young drives it to the lane. His shot is going to be up and in, off. It went in. It was off the, almost the top of the glass. Real high off the backboard. 46-39. Now Eric Kimball is going to be fouled on the drive to the basket. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. And Ortiz was hit with his third. So Eric Kimball to go to the line to shoot 2. Ackley Building Center, your one-stop center for home improvement projects. Ackley Building Center, located at 1402 Mill Street in Brush, is your one-stop shop for flooring, paint, tools, appliances, and more. And the first shot by Kimball was good. 4 points. The second one also good. 5 points on the night for Eric Kimball. Now Crosby into the game for the Bison as he gets it across half court. Drives down left wing. Now he kicks it out to Washington. Straightaway 3. And that's going to be good. And he is going to be fouled on the shot by Tate Kimball. Tate's first. Kind of backed into Washington as he was taking the shot. So Washington go to the line to shoot 1. That first shot is up and good. So Joey Schneider to inbounds for the Mustangs. Fort Morgan down 50-41 with 2:27 to go. Sanusi guarding Tate Kimball real close. Now they get it to Bauer, right corner. To Henry Weimer. Henry Weimer back to Tate. Tate throws it over the head of Joey Schneider. Turnover there by the Mustangs.
Gets Schneider wide open under the basket.
And that's a pretty high pass because Joey Schneider's got some hops to him. He can get up in the air. So Vista Peak now with the ball. Young underneath. Shot is going to be up and good by Ortiz. 4 points on the night for Ortiz. Joey Schneider with the ball gets it back from Tate Kimball. Ball is going to be knocked out of bounds by Isaiah Young. Tony Swetzik comes in for Tate Kimball for the Mustangs. As Barrows comes in for Isaiah Young for the Bison. Bison now up 11, 52-41 with 1:52 in the third period. Swetzik right wing to Bauer. Bauer has the ball taken away by Barrows. Now Crosby with it out high, being guarded by Tony Swetzik. Drives it down the right side. It's going to be taken away by Eric Kimball. Nice hands up by Kimball. His layup is going to be up and good for Eric Kimball. Nice steal and drive to the basket for Eric Kimball. Back to a 9-point lead now for the Vista Peak. 3 from the side is no good by Barrows. Rebounded by the Mustangs. Eric Kimball now down court. Tony Swetzik's going to go for a 3, and that's off the front of the rim and no good, but rebounded by Eric Kimball. His shot is up and good by Kimball. So 52-45 now, 7-point lead. Fort Morgan cutting into this lead here, little by little. 50 seconds to go in the third period. Crosby keeps the ball alive. Now he throws it over to Sanusi, high right wing. They're just going to hold the ball. They'll make Fort Morgan come out and play it. So now Sanusi drives it down the right side. His shot is going to be up and good. 4 points on the night for Sanusi. 27 seconds to go. Eric Kimball, little runner from the right side, is in and out. Now they're going to call a foul on Eric Kimball on the reach in after the rebound. So that's 3 on Kimball, 3 on Anderson, 2 on Joey Snyder, and 2 on Swetzig. So Tate's going to come back into the game for the Mustangs. Another wholesale change out for the Vista Peak Bison. Eric Kimball's going to take a seat with 20.9 seconds to go. Third period, Fort Morgan down 9, 54-45. Vista Peak drives it to the lane. Butler. Now it's going to go down to Washington, and his shot is going to be up and no good. Rebounded by Henry Weimer. Weimer to Tate with 3 seconds. Now Bauer is going to get a shot off. It's going to be up and no good. The rebound by Tate is in, but no good late at the buzzer. So at the end of 3, Vista Peak 54, Fort Morgan Mustangs 45 on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School with Bob Richardson. This is Brian Nickel, where the Fort Morgan Mustangs find themselves down by 9, 54-45 to start at the third period. Tate Kimball drives it to the basket. Now he's going to have a jump ball called. So that'll go over to Vista Peak as Pivick ties him up. So Hawkins now with the ball into the front court, being guarded by Swetzig. He's going to stop and give it to Washington. Now over to the right corner to Butler. Thought that was a travel. The guy over here on this side didn't call it, but turnover by Butler for the Bison. So ball back to the Fort Morgan Mustangs. So Tate Kimball with the ball. He's being guarded by Washington. Crossed half court and almost stolen by Noah Butler. So Tony Swetzig to inbounds in front of the Morgan bench. Trying to get it in. They do get it into Eric Kimball. Eric Kimball down the lane. He's going to end up losing the ball, but taken back away by Anderson. Anderson fake Kimball. Kimball tries to go to the... Oh, there was a foul there on Pivick. That will be his second as Tate Kimball had picked up his dribble. Pivick kind of hugged him there a little bit, and they did call that. So Tony Swetzig, the inbounds right of the basket, to get it into Snyder. Snyder to Eric Kimball, 7:14 to go. Back to Swetzig. Swetzig being called a double dribble after the steal. So Fort Morgan will take possession at half court, far side. 54-45, 7:08 to go in the game. Swetzig looks to get the ball in. He gets it into Tate. Tate back to Wes Anderson. Anderson picks up his dribble to Swetzig, now to Schneider, back to Eric Kimball. Eric Kimball to the free throw line. His pass is going to be out of the reach of Tate Kimball and out of bounds on the far sideline. So another turnover by the Mustangs. So 6:53 to go here in the fourth period. Neither team has scored yet in this period. Now he's being timeout called by Vista Peak as
a 30-second timeout.
Hawkins had picked up his dribble in the back court and was double teamed and couldn't get out of it, so they called a timeout. So the Vista Peak Bison averaged 58.2 points a game. They're now at 54 with 6:46 to go. Fort Morgan averages 52.9. We're at 45 points with them right now. As far as fouls for the Fort Morgan Mustangs, Wes Anderson, Eric Kimball both have 3. Joey Schneider with 2. Tony Swetzig with 1. T.J. Bauer, Tate Kimball, and Henry Weimer each with 1. Is for Vista Peak, The guys in trouble for them are Sanusi and Ortiz, each with 3, Barrows with 2, and Pivic with 2. Now Vista Peak now with the ball. Hawkins keeps the ball alive. Dribbles down the right side, hands it off to Butler. Butler then kicks it out to Young. Young now is going to pass it back out to Washington. Washington kicks it out to the corner. They're just dribbling around here, but they find a wide open shot, and there's a 3 up and no good. Rebounded. Who are they going to call it on? They're going to call it on Fort Morgan. They're going to call it on Wes Anderson. So that will be 4 on Anderson. So Tolawalio will come in for Tony Swetzik. He will inbounds right of their corner. Shot is up and good. Another 3 by Washington. Tate Kimball with the ball cross court to Tolawalio. He's being guarded on the right corner. Maybe a foul called out there on Hawkins. His first. 4 team fouls on Vista Peak, 6 on the Fort Morgan Mustangs. Wes Anderson comes out, TJ Bauer in for the Mustangs. Eric Kimball to inbound right baseline. Now Tate Kimball takes it right elbow, and his pass is going to be knocked out of bounds by Noah Butler of the Bison. So Fort Morgan inbounds mid-court, far side, mid-front court, far side, and get it into Eric Kimball. Eric Kimball for a 3 from deep, and up and good by Kimball. His first 3 of the night. Fort Morgan down 9. Now Hawkins to Butler. Butler underneath. His shot is going to be up and no good. Rebounded by Eric Kimball. Kimball's knocked down. No foul called. They get the ball down to Pivic. Pivic's layup. They're going to wave it off. He's going to be called for the travel. Now, for the Bison, Young comes out and Barrows comes in. 5:28 to go. Fort Morgan down 9, 57-48. Tate Kimball ends up dribbling it off with his foot. So it'll be an over and back ball on the Mustangs as they will inbounds center court.
These careless turnovers are just killing the Mustangs right now. They get a little run, a little drive going, and foolish turnovers.
They get the pressure probably from them, but that really wasn't that much pressure from Vista Peak. A 3 deep from the corner for Washington. That kid has been hot all night long. Now Eric Kimball drives it down the center of the lane. He's going to be fouled by Pivic. And it just amazes me, these guys, they blow the whistle on him. He hits him in the back with his forearm, and he looks at the ref like, what did I do? I don't know. They've apparently been getting away with a lot of stuff in other games, but they're getting called for some of it here tonight. So Bauer to inbounds for the Mustangs. Now Wallio back to Bauer. Bauer take kip to Eric Kimball. Kimball has it taken away, but picked up by Wallio. Up and good by Wallio. Now Washington back to Hawkins. Hawkins drives it down the lane. That little shot is going to be up and good by Hawkins. 9 points on the night for Hawkins. Take Kimball to Eric Kimball. 4:28 to go. 12-point lead for the Bison. Eric Kimball with a nice running layup from the left side. Another 2 for him. We have a full timeout here taken by the Mustangs, so we'll take one with them. Fort Morgan down 62-52 with 4:22 to go on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School with Bob Richardson, this is Brian Nickel, where the Fort Morgan Mustangs find themselves down 10, 62-52 with 4:22 to go in the fourth period. Vista Peak to inbounds far court. with Washington getting it. The Mustangs try the full court pressure, and Washington just dribbles it right up through him and then knocked out of his hands down at their end of the court. So now Crosby to inbounds. Gets it in, little shot is up and no good by Butler, but then Butler ends up losing it to Fort Morgan. Eric Kimball with the ball. Eric Kimball to Tate Kimball. Tate Kimball into the lane. His shot is going to be up and good. Oh, they're going to wave it off. They're going to offensive foul on Tate Kimball. 2 on Kimball. That's terrible. There was no way that guy was set in the lane.
Yes, it stays on that.
62-52.
In there. Nobody can take. They don't take it.
For the Fort Morgan the Bison up by 10 with 3:55. Now Crosby with it. Crosby back out to Hawkins. Hawkins gets it back to Crosby. They're just throwing it around here, trying to kill a little time. Butler now down the left side, and he picks it up, gets it to Crosby. Crosby gets it before it goes across half court. Now Young dribbles it down into the right corner. Pass back out to Butler. Now they're going to have a foul called out front. It's going to be a 1-and-1. And that's going to go against Eric Kimball. That'll be 4. So Crosby will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. So we have, trying to figure out what they got here at the, having a discussion here with the refs at the scorer's table. So Tony Swetzik to come in for the Mustangs.
I don't know what the confusion was.
Almost thought they were looking like he thought he had 5 fouls or something, but we have him for 4 and so does the scorer's table. So I'm not sure just what the confusion was there. Coach Unrein had, I don't know if it's the Unrein had the question or if the ref did. First shot is up and good by Crosby. So he will get another. 63-52. Second shot also up and good by Crosby. Equitable Savings and Loan, Northeast Colorado's locally owned hometown savings and loan. With locations in Fort Morgan and Brush, they have the financial solutions for you. So Tate Kimball gets the ball up across half court, picks up his dribble. Now back to Eric Kimball, slipping around out there like the floor is wet or something. Another 2 up by Kimball.
Well, if you slip down like that and put up a shot like that, then I guess we should slip every possession.
We'll let him slip every time. Now that Vista Peak with 3 minutes to go, up 10. Shot is going to be up and no good, but the outside ref is going to call that against Joey Snyder, or against, yes, Joey Snyder. That will be 3 on Snyder. So Butler will go to the line to shoot 2. So Wes Anderson getting ready to check back in for the Mustangs. First shot is up and good by Butler. 3 points on the night for Butler. Brush Grocery Cart. Stop, shop, and save on all your grocery needs and snacks for game time enjoyment. You can also pay your public service bill and access Western Union. Brush Grocery Cart, 1302 West Edison Street in Brush. And second one was also good by Butler. Now Fort Morgan, Eric Kimball's shot is up and no good. Rebound being fought for. Eric Kimball sticks with it and gets another basket. Still down 10. Let's see who that goes against. If that goes against Kimball, he's done.
He's out.
Oh, that is one guy they couldn't afford to have foul out of the game here at the end.
Played a good game. Leading rebounder, leading scorer at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think anybody will catch him as far as for the Mustangs anyway, as far as leading scorer. So Tolo Walio to come in for the Mustangs. AC Ice. AC Ice proudly supports local high school sports throughout Northeast Colorado. When you need ice, don't settle for just any old frozen water. Get AC Ice. You can find it at any local grocery or convenience store near you. So Washington's shot is up and no good. Fort Morgan has 10 team fouls, so he will get 2 shots. So for the Mustangs are TJ Bauer, Tate Kimball, Tola Wallio, Wes Anderson, and Tony Swetzik. And second shot is up and good for Washington. 67, they're going to have a foul called against.
Looks like they're going to get that one to Butler.
Number 5, that will be on Butler. That will be his first. So TJ Bauer to inbounds, 2:31 to go, fourth period. Fort Morgan down 11, 67-56. Tony Swetzik fakes the 3, and now the shot is going to be blocked out of Tolio's hands, or Wallio's hands. Finally back to Washington. He gets it off to Young, or to Butler. He is fouled on the layup.
I think they're going to give that to Anderson.
That's Anderson. That's 5 on Anderson. So now Butler will go to the line to shoot 2. So far for the Vista Peak, they have 3 guys with 3 fouls. So they're really not in any danger of anybody fouling out here with 2:20 to go in the game.
Losing Anderson and Kimball with 2:20 left in the game, so it's going to be a big hit for the Mustangs.
Yeah, Kimball had first shot is up and good for Butler. He had 9 points here. Eric Kimball 9 points here in the fourth period alone. Second shot is up and good for Butler. He has 4 free throws here, good in the fourth period. He has 6 points on the night. Wallio gets it to Swetzik. Swetzik fakes the shot. It's going to be short. Going to be taken by Sanusi. They call a double dribble on Sanusi. So 2:05 to go. Fort Morgan down 13, 69-56. Swetzik the inbounds baseline. Left of the basket. Needs to get it in. Have a hold on the inbounds. I believe that's going to go against Barrows. That will be 3 on Barrows. That'll be 17 fouls. So Tola will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1.
Well, they could thank Barrows for bailing the Mustangs out because Swetzik was having a hard time getting that in. The 5 seconds was coming. I thought when they blew the whistle it was actually going to be the 5 seconds.
I did too, yeah. So Nate Gertner in for the Mustangs. Tony Swetzik to take a seat. As Wallio to the line for a 1-and-1. First shot is up and good by Wallio. Nice looking shot there by Tola. So Tola with shot number 2 coming for him. That is also up and good. So 4 points on the night for Tola. Fort Morgan now full court press. As Young gets it up court to Washington. Washington being double teamed, and they're going to call a blocking foul on Joey Snyder. That will be 4 on Snyder. As Butler will go to the line again to shoot 2. Tony Swetzik waiting at the scorer's table to come in. First shot by Butler is up and good. 5 of 5 from the free throw line for Butler. So far, Vista Peak is 9 of 9 from the free throw line in the fourth period. Second shot also up and good. 71-58 for the Bison, and have a timeout called here by the Fort Morgan Mustangs. It's going to be a full timeout, so we'll take one with them. Fort Morgan down 71-58 on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, where the Mustangs find themselves down 71-58 with 1:50 to go in the game. Swetzik now for a deep 3. That is off the backboard, no good. Rebounded to Wally. His shot is up and blocked out of bounds. Or blocked, but then it was taken by Vista Peak, and they were called for a travel in the corner. Well, he had a little help there from Tola, but they're going to let that one go. Tony to inbounds from the sideline, almost down to the baseline left side. Fort Morgan needs to break. They get it into Tate Kimball. Tate Kimball's little shot is up and no good. Rebounded to the Bison. Now Washington has it, being double teamed in the corner. That jump ball, nice job there by Tate Kimball for the tie-up. But that still belongs to Vista Peak. 1:31 to go as Young and Crosby come into the game for Vista Peak. It's now Butler to inbound. Let's see who they're trying to bring in here. Gertner comes in for Swetzig. Now they're going to call a timeout by Vista Peak. It is going to be a full timeout, so we'll take one with them here on B106 and B106.com. Back at Fort Morgan High School, they're saying possession to the Mustangs. Before the timeout, they said it was possession to Vista Peak. Now Swetzig tries to get into the game, but they're not letting him come into the game. I don't know why. So I have a goal to Coach Enright is having a little chat with the ref. I don't know why they wouldn't let him come in.
I believe because they called a timeout, you got to wait for a possession for the next dead ball.
So Bauer, his pass to the corner is stolen by Vista Peak. That'd be Hawkins, but taken back by Schneider. His court pass to Bauer. His three is up and no good. But Gertner, nice hustle play on him, but it ended up going out of bounds. But nice hustle there by Nate Gertner. So Fort Morgan to pressure full court if they could get Butler's attention where he needs to be positioned here. Left deep corner. Now they're going to go deep pass down court, and that shot is, tried to stop it up and no good by Young. Now he comes back and it was taken. Now there's going to be a foul called. Who are they calling the foul on? They called a foul on Tola? Are you kidding me? They're calling a foul on Wallio, and he was knocked down and kicked by Young as he went by. I don't see how they came up with that call, but Young will go to the line to shoot two. This first shot is going to be up and good. So Nate Gertner comes out, Tony Swetzig in for the Mustangs. So Joey Schneider, Tola Wallio, Tate Kimball, Tony Swetzig, and TJ Bauer into the game. That shot is up and no good by Butler. Now Tate gets down. His pass is going to be intercepted by Butler. Butler's going to go all the way. His layup is going to be up and good by Butler, and he is going to be fouled on the play. So that's going to go against Schneider. If that's on Schneider, that is 5 on him. So now a 30-second timeout here is going to be called by Vista Peak. So Butler will go to the line when they come out of this break, shooting one as his layup was good. So this score is kind of gotten away from the Mustangs here at the last of this period here, down 74-58. Bladen Pollitt now going to get ready to come in for the Mustangs. And a lot of sloppy passes by the Mustangs and a lot of quickness also by Vista Peak.
Yeah, the Mustangs, once Kimball and then Anderson and now Schneider all fouled out, kind of started getting away from them. Little over started adding up.
Their leadership isn't out on the court like it needs to be. See Brian Almanza, Henry Weimer, Bladen Pollitt, Laredo Conis, and Nate Gertner into the game for the Mustangs. 56.4 seconds to go as Butler will go to the line to shoot one after his layup was good and then fouled by Joey Schneider. Shot is up and good. He has not missed here in the second half on his free throws. He's 7 of 7. Now Brian Almanza brings it up court down the right sideline. kicks it out to Nate Gertner. Gertner lines up for a three. Up and good for Gertner. Nice shot there by Nate Gertner. His first points of the night. 38 seconds to go here in the game. 75-61. Now Butler with the ball. We have a foul called on O'Connor. Be his first. So that will send Butler back to the line to shoot two. So Butler on the year for, as far as free throws, Butler is shooting 71% and hits the first one. So shot number two coming up here, and that is up and also good. He missed two free throws to start off in the first period, and then here in the fourth period, he has yet to miss. So 29 seconds to go. Brian Almanza gets it to O'Connor, back to Almanza. Almanza's going to take it all the way to the hoop and in. So Almanza gets into the scoring column tonight for the Mustangs. Now Washington goes up the left sideline. See if they're going to kick it out. They kick it back out to Crosby with 10 seconds. Nate Gertner up on Hawkins. Now back to Young. They're just going to run the timeout here. So at the end of the game, the Vista Peak Bison outdo the Fort Morgan Mustangs 77-63. We'll have a 3-minute break and be back with the post-game show from Fort Morgan High School on B106 and B106.com. Back at the Fort Morgan High School, where the Fort Morgan Mustang boys have just gone down to Vista Peak 77-63. This Mustang post-game show is brought to you by Buildings by Design. Knowing who you can trust to do a good job is a tough part nowadays. But when you hire Buildings by Design, you can trust you'll get the building you want, when you want it, and at the quality you deserve. Start your build project right. Start with Buildings by Design. So for the Fort Morgan Mustangs tonight, another tough loss. That's 4 in a row for them after starting out 10-2. I believe they're now 10-6 on the year. They were down right from the get-go. Into the first quarter, they were down 21-16. At half, they were down 35-28. At the end of the third, they were down 54-45. And then at the final score, 77-63. They kind of got away from them there a little bit, but Schneider, Anderson, and Eric Kimball all foul out towards the end of the fourth period. So as far as scoring for the Vista Peak Bison, Washington with 26, Hawkins with 9, Sanusi with 4, Young with 5, Butler with 13, Pivic with 5, Knobloch with 6, Barrows with 3, Ortiz with 4, and Crosby with 2 for their 77. For the Fort Morgan Mustangs, Bauer had 13, Walia with 4, Swessick with 8, Gertner with 3, Tate Kimball with 2, Almanza with 2, Joey Schneider with 2, Anderson with 4, Eric Kimball with 20, and Henry Weimer with 5 for the Fort Morgan's 63 points.
In the rebound column, the Mustangs were out-rebounded 25-16. The leading rebounder was Eric Kimball with 7, then Schneider Anderson with 4, Tate Kimball with 3, then we had Bauer Swetzik with 2, Wallio with 1, and Weimer with 1. For the Vista Peak Bison, for their 16, their leading rebounder was Ortiz with 4. Then you had Washington with 3, Young with 2, Butler with 2, and Pivic with 2. And then you had Barrows, Hawkins, and Sanusi with 1 apiece. The turnovers started really getting in the fourth period for both teams. They both had 6 turnovers in the fourth period. The Mustangs had 19 for the total of the game compared to 15 for the Bison. In the third period, the Bison only had 1 turnover. The Mustangs had 4 to round it out. The Mustangs were just hanging in there, and then once Eric Kimball got fouled out with the leading score of 20, he had 8 in the third period, combined by 9 in the fourth period. It just showed on the stat sheets that the Mustangs started out a little cold. They had 28 points, and then they just come on the third and fourth period, the second half, and bringing out the points. And Eric Kimball, just his third and fourth periods are just phenomenal. If we could just get that for the first, second, and the third and the fourth.
Yeah, they need to come out hitting that right off the bat. He's a little slow starting, but he finishes well. But T.J. Bauer tonight was actually hot for the Mustangs in the first period with 8 points for T.J. As far as the free throw shooting for Vista Peak, they were in the second half 12 of 16 for 75%. Fort Morgan was 4 of 4 for 100%. But on the night, Vista Peak was shot at 65%. Fort Morgan was 8 of 13 for 61%. So someplace where the Mustangs need to improve. Maybe I know Tate didn't have a real good night at the free throw line. I think he missed a couple of 1-and-1s, and he's usually pretty accurate from the free throw line, and he was off just a little bit.
Swetzik normally is their hot three-pointer, and he only had a three-point shooter, and he only had 2 3-points on the night, 3 in the second and 3 in the third. He gets hot in the first period. He's pretty hot throughout the game on his three. They just didn't have the opportunity for the threes. Like we were stating earlier, Vista Peak Bison, they were in their face, contesting every pass, which proves in the turnover column. It's hard to, there was arm checks and that they weren't calling, and then, like you said, the tap fouls barely they would get them, and it was just something that the Mustangs couldn't overcome tonight, and we'll just move on to the next game and look for the W at the next game.
And speaking of the next game, the boys will be playing at home next Tuesday at 7 o'clock against Skyview. The girls will be at Skyview, and that's where we will be next Tuesday for the girls. We will be at Skyview at 7 o'clock. So I think we'll go ahead and take a break here, and then we will be back with some information here on the Fort Morgan Lady Mustangs as they will take on the Lady Bison here in the second game tonight from Fort Morgan High School. You're listening to Fort Morgan Mustangs basketball on B106 and B106.com.